Hello, hello. Hello, hello. So, tell me if you're in. Nice. I have someone in. I'm gonna wait for a few minutes, seconds. Great. Thank you for being in. I like your enthusiasm. Can you hear me? Tell me if you can hear me. Okay, great. I hope I have no any technical issues. Okay, I think I will start. Oopsie. Okay. Let me switch this here. Okay, great. Now, welcome to my number one fan. I want to start today and share about mindful photography and in the subject of don't postpone joy and how this has helped me. And I wanted to share this also with you. So, just a little introductory about who I am. I am Mish, I'm a photographer, and I found in photography an outlet for creativity, calm and quiet in my busy mind. I'm very passionate about traveling and photography, and with a desire to show how the practice of mindfulness to photography can help you create, care, and connect. Right? So, what will you see today? We're gonna see why it's important not to postpone joy, the cost of postponing joy, and how to stop postponing joy by using mindful photography. By being present, by slowing down the click, see the ordinary as extraordinary, and connect emotion to image. And if you stay at the end, I have two gifts for you. So let's dive right into it. Okay, first, don't postpone joy. You know, we fall many times in the trap of thinking, I will be glad when. And we're waiting for milestones. If we have kids, you might think, I will be glad when the kids get out of diapers, or the kids start school, or the kids graduate. And maybe I will be glad when I get that job, when I get in that relationship, or when I travel to that place, or when I retire. You know, we're always in this state of looking ahead and sometimes also looking at the past. And we're missing the now, the present moment. And it's good to think about the past, to reflect on the past, but it's also important to to look into the future, to plan ahead. But it's also very important to be present, because we miss so much when we are, especially when we are with friends, family, loved ones, that we are constantly or thinking about the past, or thinking about the future, that we can miss important moments if we are not really intentional about that. Okay. And the two, there's a cost. There's a cost when we postpone joy, when we are constantly thinking in these two, past, present, future, and we don't really be intentional about being present. And for everything in life, there's a price we have to pay. And there's always in economics there's this saying that, the cost of opportunity. When you do something, the cost of opportunity is, you're paying the price on something else. So when we postpone joy, the cost can be, missed memories, what I said before, missed memories. We regret over time that we have wasted, and we're living in someday, somewhere in the future, instead of living in the moment, instead of living today. So by postponing joy, we can miss important moments that if we are really not intentional about it, we miss, the laughter at the dinner table, the sweetness of little hands holding us, and the daily moments that one day will be just memories that we long for. So we have to be very mindful of that. Next, so how do we stop postponing joy then, Mish? You will ask me. Uh, we have to be very intentional and be very, present in the small moments. We have to celebrate progress, not just milestones. Sometimes we say to ourselves, no, when I get that graduation, I will celebrate. We have to learn to celebrate every step of the way, every milestone that we get, every little step. When we have dreams and goals, it's very easy to get lost in everything that we have to do, and we forget to enjoy and celebrate the little steps that we make in everything. And that's also one way to stop postponing joy is to reframe challenges. Instead of constantly say, I have to do this, I have to. If we reframe that and we say, I get to do this, it changes the way you look at something, and this can help you to stop postponing joy. And one very important thing is to practice gratitude, because gratitude grounds us in the moment. When we are thankful, grateful for everything, and we start seeing with those eyes of gratitude, it this this helps us to enjoy and be grateful for the little things in life. So these three things, four things, and especially gratitude, we can train ourselves to stop postponing joy by reframing how we see our daily lives through gratitude and to presence. Gratitude that shifts our attention, because when we say to yourself, okay, I'm grateful for this moment, I'm grateful for, this cup of tea, or anything that you can think of. It shifts your attention in the moment. And presence, being intentional, present, let us enjoy what's happening at the moment instead of rushing through that. So, and combining this, I am using mindful photography as a tool that teaches us that joy is not postponed to some future day, because it's available in the moment. Mindful photography has helped me to get to that place of, being really intentional, being present, and enjoying the moment, where each photo becomes a record of presence, a reminder of gratitude, a celebration of the now. And when you carry, in my case, when you carry your camera or your phone, it can become a tool of mindfulness, not just for, documentation, of not just taking picture because of the sake of taking pictures. It really, when you are really mindful of it, when you're really aware of it, it can become a presence, a reminder of all these things. Um, one, one of these days, I was looking at a picture. By the way, all the pictures that you see in the presentation are pictures that I took with my phone. So it's very easy to do when you are very intentional about that. One of those days, I was looking at a picture of a sunset. I love sunset, and you know, it's a reminder of that moment of gratitude, of being able to be able to see. For me, my sunsets are awesome. So everywhere I can, I take a picture. So it's really about finding happiness in the present moment, and through being really mindful, to be really aware in photography. It teach us to not postpone the joy and to really enjoy the moment. Okay, everything good? All right? Yes. Put a one in the chat to know if everything is okay. Great. Let's continue to the second part. Let me take some refuelment. 1 second. Nice. Okay. So, how now we combine this, applying this to mindful photography by being present behind the lens. So what I'm training myself to do more and more, instead of rushing to capture that perfect shot, is to take a moment to pause when I take my camera, and normally I do it, take a deep breath, and I take a moment to look around, to really, okay, I'm in this moment, I look around, and before taking a picture, and I notice, maybe for me it's easy because I'm a photographer and my mind is like, always like on, but this is something also that can be trained for anyone that is not very, maybe you consider yourself not creative or technical, but this is something that anyone can do. When you notice textures, like the roughness of tree, the roughness of bark in the trees, the smoothness of the water when you are at the ocean, at the sea. When I'm looking at the sunset, you can see the smoothness of the water, colors, shadows shifting with the sun, and light. In photography, light is everything. So we pay special attention to light and how it falls. If you notice how when you take a picture in the morning, and when you take a picture in the evening of the same object, of the same space, you will see a difference because light changes, and also it affects the colors. So notice those little things, and then lastly, ask yourself, what beauty is right here? What right now? What is the beauty that is in the moment that you have missed if you haven't slowed down? Because we go and take a picture, and we don't, sometimes we don't even go back and look at the picture. So it's really important to ask yourself what beauty exists right here in the moment that you're taking the picture. So I want to give you a practical exercise. Next time you're out, you can put your phone on silent, and you stand still for 2 minutes, and you photograph only what draws your attention naturally. This is something you can practice. This is something you can learn to do when you're taking a walk or something, and you want to be really mindful in that moment in photography. Just, pause a bit, and look around and see what is something that is drawing my attention naturally when I go on walks. And also depends on the emotions that you are feeling, but we're gonna see that in a few slides away. But it's really to be mindful, to be present, to be aware. Okay, what is drawing my attention, and in that moment, snap the picture. Okay, great. Let's continue. Five is a slow down the click, because we are always in that rush of taking pictures for taking pictures, because maybe if we don't take I make that mistake all the time, because as a photographer, you don't want to miss that shot. You don't want, so you take a bunch of pictures without truly engaging with what we are photographing at the moment. So in mindful photography, it means fewer but more intentional clicks. The way that I do this, the way that I practice this, is that I take a deep breath. I take three deep breaths. Look, when you take three deep three deep breath before pressing the shutter, it really like grounds you in that moment. I feel the weight of my camera, and I frame carefully, and I ask myself, does this image reflect how I'm experiencing this moment? If it's not, I don't take the picture, because sometimes it's like you have to feel the photo. Sometimes I think, okay, I'm gonna take this picture and it's gonna be awesome. But when I'm like looking in the shutter, in the viewfinder, and I see, I don't feel it. I'm not experiencing at the moment. So I don't take it. I really don't take it. So this helps us, when we take a deep breath. This helps us to slow the mind, and it teaches patience. And this is something that we all need to grow in that, And it deepens presence, because once again, it grounds you in the moment. So a practical exercise that I want to give you is, also when you're going on a walk, limit yourself to only take 5 pictures. Be intentional about that. Okay, I'm going to take a walk, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, and say, okay, I'm going to take 5 pictures, look around things that get your attention. And this helps you, this forces you to be careful, to be careful about observing in that moment what are you taking. Okay, nice. Let's go to the next one. And this one is one of my favorites. See the ordinary as extraordinary. And this is, children can do this so great, because for children everything is like awesome, everything is like wow, everything is like for the first time. And as we grow old, we lose this sense of wonder, we lose this sense of awe. And and in photography, you can learn to develop this. And joy is often hidden in the everyday, and we miss that so easily. And we have to be mindful, aware that it's not in the spectacular, like big trips or milestones that we get. It's really in the simple, ordinary things of every day. And this can be trained. You can train your eye, as we mentioned, to see beauty and what most people overlook. The rich blue sky, raindrops that slides down your window, or the wind flowing through the trees, especially now that we are getting in autumn. And if you really want to be practice this, you can notice how, the wind blows and all the trees falls. I think that's beautiful. Also, if you see the picture that is in the picture that's in the presentation, this picture I took while walking just close by to my where I live. And I just saw, I paused in that moment, and I took the moment in. I said, okay, this is nice, because I saw it and I like it. So yes, this one great example to help you discover the wonder in the simple little things. So one practical exercise I want to give you is also, spend a day tomorrow, photographing only ordinary things at home, like your favorite teacup, like your favorite breakfast, anything that's for you, it's like ordinary, that you don't see, and try to see the extraordinary in that ordinary. And I invite you to create a small series titled Beauty in the Everyday. And if you do that, please tag me, follow me on Instagram, simplymish.photography, and let me see your pictures. I would love to see the pictures. All right, how are we doing? We're doing great. Nice. This is also something that one that I like very much is connect emotion to image. Because once again, don't just document what you see, capture how you feel. And I maybe for some, this is difficult. I'm an introvert, and for me, feelings and emotions are something that is so natural to me. But my invitation to you is to, to tune in to that feeling, to that emotion that you have, and try to capture how you feel. Because again, what I told at the beginning, when I'm going to take a picture, because I think, okay, the view is great, this picture gonna be great, but I don't I don't feel it. I don't take it, and let then photography become an expression of gratitude, of calm, of awe, or even curiosity. And I do this a lot. I try to connect, okay, how am I feeling this moment? Am I feeling calm? Am I feeling curious? I'm having a moment of gratitude. Take my camera and snap it. So when you look back at your photos, they shouldn't only remind you of the scene, but also the state of mind you were in. It's what I also said at the beginning. I was meaning this picture that you see. This picture was taken at the beach, and it was a beautiful sunset. And when I was preparing for this presentation, um, I wanted to put a picture, and I was reminded at that moment where I was happy. I was happy because I was at the beach. I was taking pictures of something that I like so much, that sunset, and well, I think it turned out great, right? So a practical exercise. So after taking each photo, you can write one word in your notes describing the emotion that you felt at the moment. Because if you do that, it's so great when you go back and look at the photos and you see, okay, this moment I was feeling happy, this moment I was feeling sad. And it's also interesting because when you are really intentional about feelings that you have, and you make a picture, you will see the pictures. You can always see an emotion behind the picture. And for me in photography, I'm also very intentional in this. Emotions for me are very important, and I want all my photos to transmit emotion. Also when I do not just photography for myself, but also when I'm doing photo shoots, I am very intentional about the emotion that I want to present, and when I'm delivering pictures, I want the person that they see the pictures, that they feel, the emotion of the picture. So this is for me really, really important. So I invite you to also do that. But when you're taking a picture, and when you're feeling an emotion, when you're feeling sadness, when you're feeling happiness, try to see what draws your attention and take a picture. And then as you write an emotion describing the emotion that you felt, and that thing in that picture, when you go back and you see it, it will be amazing, trust me. So we arrive. It was a very short talk, but we arrive at the closing thought. Um, don't postpone joy. As we see, the cost of postponing joy is high, because we lose, the wonders in the small things. So you can choose joy. Joy is a decision, like happiness. Joy is a decision that you have to be very mindful of taking it, because that's where it lies in the moment, in today. This week, as I was like preparing this talk, I saw a video of an old lady, 80 years old lady, that she was talking about this, and I think this inspired much of the content of this talk. She was talking about, that she arrived at a moment. I will be glad when I have this. I will be glad when the kids grow up. I will be glad when the kids get out of house. I will be glad when this and that. But this she reminded us, I don't want to arrive at 80 years old and think about, oh gosh, I should have enjoyed the moments more with my loved ones, or I should have been more intentional about, enjoying and choosing joy every day, every moment. Because, like in life, the joy of photography isn't waiting for the perfect moment. It's in noticing that your moment that you're already in, there you can find joy. And this has helped me so much in my journey as a self development, to really be aware and mindful and present in the little moments that we so often take for granted. So I wanted to share this little thought with you, and I hope that you have been a little inspired in Don't Postponing Joy. And as a thank you so much for your time. And as a thank you, as promised, I have two gifts for you. One, you might have seen it, is you can get my free mini guide, 7 steps to be present behind the lens. This mini guide helps you to put all what we have seen today in practice. There are very practical tips. There are exercises that you can do very easily, and it can, give you like a guideline to practice this and to experience joy. And also, one very important is pictures. I think pictures should be printed and should not only stay in your phone. I have an app. It's called La La Lab. It's where I print my pictures. It's when I use it for printing photo books or prints. And if you use that code, you can get €5 discount with your purchase to turn your digital shots into print. And you can apply all of this um, using and printing these pictures. So I will leave if there are any questions that you would have. Tell me, how was it? Nice. Yes, that's very nice. Let's enjoy by the moment and not rushing. Great, great. All right. Well, make sure to grab the code. Make sure to grab yes, the code for you to get my €5 discount. All right. So thank you very much for being with me, and I hope to see you soon. One more last thing, I am preparing a webinar that will go deeper in this topic of mindful photography. You can find it, more information on my Instagram, simplymish.photography, and there you will have all the information. It will be next month in October. And if you like this topic of mindful photography and how this can help you to, to get more calm, to be more creative in our daily life with stress, mindful photography can help you slow down and also develop creativity. So thank you so much. If there are no further questions, I will leave it there. Thank you and have a great Sunday. Bye.